Assalamu alaikum. This is video 2. Okay, no, excuse me. This is video 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so it is checkmate on the British Vatican brother reptilian Scorpio synagogue of Satan, Zionist Israeli warmongering blue blood alien temple of barbarian Babel Confederate bitch brigade. Okay, they are trying to have a global coup, okay, and attempt to steal the legacy of the global nation of Jacob from the Ethiopian kingdom of Judah and beyond. Other areas that the nation of Jacob went into, okay, to seek refuge, okay, and built the nation up, okay, and then consequently, many of the nation was napped out of Ethiopia, right? The kingdom was usurped, okay, during the slave trade, okay, so that they could steal the legacy, and okay. Now, so the reptilian or the scorpion, I have to say that together so you'll know exactly what we're talking about. The reptilian or the scorpion is preparing to send the nation of Egypt or Kemet into civil war by crashing the Egyptian pound, collapsing the Egyptian economy, destroys its military infrastructure, send the African region into and the entire Middle East into shock waves as it spirals into civil regional war and burn itself beyond human control. And also, we're going to talk about their fake peace agreement, their so-called 7-year peace agreement, right? Because what's going to happen, right? The 7-year peace agreement, right, is supposed to happen. Why do they want a 7-year peace agreement? Because the prophet born of a virgin, is, according to biblical prophecy, is supposed to return after the sign, which is Revelation 12:12, right? So 7 years, right? That will be him. That will be 7 years. Transition of Uranus through Taurus, a download of information to humanity, right? And then they want a chance to interfere with that transition. And then after the 7 years, then it's supposed to, the transition will be moving into Gemini, right? That will be the transition to the door, right? He will be coming to the door. Right? So they want a chance to try to build their Israeli military, okay? And because right now Israel has been exposed as being the barbaric tyrant, antichrist nation that it is, occupying nation that it is, right? And trying to steal the legacy and the Holy Land and all this. They want to try to rebuild their reputation under the Drumpf, right? Who's a Zionist too, right? So they want to try to make peace, right? But according to biblical prophecy, in the middle of that peace, which would be like entering the door, right? In the middle of that peace, that would be 3.5 years, he's going to try to make war, right? So, and of course, a war would entail a false flag, right? Because if they got peace with the Palestinians, what is it supposed to say? Oh, the Palestinians broke the peace because they sent a missile flying into Israel because they're 2 separate states, right? So therefore, attack Palestine and annihilate it this time because they broke the peace, just like they did 9/11 here in America and had a so-called war on Islam, okay? But a so-called war on terror, but it was a war on Islam, right? Okay, so that's the plan there. So, yeah, so that they could, and then not only would they annihilate Palestine, but the whole Middle East, right? Because we're tired of this shit. We're tired of it. We make peace. We try to make peace with them, but they don't want any peace. They're still violent and all this. No, there can't be 2 states. There has to be 1 state. That's the only way to have peace back there. Did segregation work here in America? Did separate but equal work here in America? Did separate but equal work in South Africa? No, it did not. It won't work in Palestine either. Okay? There has to be 1 nation, Palestine. Okay, now those people who migrated there, that's up to them if they want to stay or go, but there has to be 1 nation in order for there to be peace in that region of the world, okay? Because are they going to talk about sending the borders back to 1967? That's only a disguise to make Palestinians think, oh, they're going to get more land. No, you need your waterways free, you need the Mediterranean Sea free, you need your oil and your natural resources free, and what they're usurping now, so are they going to give all that back? No, they're not. Are you going to be free to build up a military? Would you be free to have a nuclear weapon like Israel would have? No, you wouldn't. So you would never be free. 1 state solution. That's what has to be negotiated. Anything else, then that so-called Palestinian president would be a sellout to the Palestinian people. Okay? Either do peace the right way or don't. If peace is what? No. If peace is not done the right way, then that is not a peace. Okay? What kind of peace is it where you can't have the liberty to build your own military? You can't have access to your own waterway. You can't have access to your own natural resources, but they're going to tell you, oh, it's going to be a peace and you're going to have a two-state solution. No fucking two-state solution. That's a setup. It's a trap. Okay? It's a fucking trap. And what they want to do, they want to have that not placebo, but they want to have that pseudo-peace and then have a false flag and destroy everything in the region, all the countries, because they want to have time to build up their military and their reputation and have the people forget about what they done in Gaza in 2014 and killing all those children. Okay, they want a chance to rebuild their reputation in the world. Okay, because the world is able to see them as the beast that they are, as the antichrist that they are. They're under the microscope. That's what they're doing, and that's what the Trump wants to do. He wants to have this pseudo peace, okay, so that they can build up the military and then have a false flag like they did 9/11 in America and blame the Palestinians or some other Muslim country that supports Palestine and then blow up Palestine and have genocide, just total genocide. That's their plan. If it's already written in the Bible, then you can see the writing in the Bible. It's a game. The Trump is a Zionist. The Trump is Jazaza, the precursor to the Antichrist, the barren Antichrist. Okay? Why you think he probably named his son? Why you think his son's name is Baron? Okay? Now, or whatever, son or daughter or whatever it is, because it's been said they transgender the children. Okay? Like I said, Ivan K. is stated to have had a gender change. In fact, it's also been stated that his man bride is no different than the Obama nation's man bride. Okay, that's what many videos state that. Okay, now, so and then what? Send Egypt in a economic collapse. Have the people just depend on the military for this is their prelude to Armageddon, right? And then drag America into the Armageddon and the war against Palestine and the Arab nations and Russia and all this, because what? Oh, they gotta support. That's part of the peace agreement. If Palestine breaks the agreement, then America has to come into the war. America and all her allies, right? And attack the axis of evil, which would be China, Russia, and probably Pakistan too, and Korea and all of that. And we just have a global war, which they already want. This peace agreement is prelude. It's a game. And then what? Egypt economy be collapsing, and people be so weak and just depending on the military for all its food. And then what? Oh, and another thing. And let's give Palestine, tempt them into taking peace, and we'll give them foreign aid, more fucking tax money, foreign aid, taking more food out of the American mouth. And it's hard for Americans already to have jobs, and they got these loans and debts and all this kind of stuff. Can't even pay their mortgage or their rent. Keep America economically oppressed. Okay? But they can constantly give reparations to everybody else, give reparations to Israel, despite America didn't have nothing to do with Germany's attack on the Sephardic Jews in Germany. But the African Americans who were enslaved in America for centuries can't get reparations to build their communities and feed their children and send their children to universities and buy homes and build economic infrastructure in their communities. But they constantly tell them they ain't got no money. We ain't got no money for you, right? Okay, but we promise we give Jordan money. Jordan, the king of the refugees of Jordan, right? He just came and got a bunch of money, right? The Saudis getting money to protect them, right? And now Israel's getting money, and now we want to give Palestinians money, okay? To coerce them into a fake peace agreement, right? But America, sorry. You guys are asked. In fact, we're gonna raise your taxes, and we're gonna raise your insurance and deductibles. Okay, that's how we're gonna deal with you. Okay, we're gonna take from you, make you poor where you can't say any goddamn thing, and eventually collapse the economy too, and make you just like the fucking Egyptian, and then we'll declare martial law on your fucking asses, and then you can't do a fucking goddamn thing because you're fucking stupid. Okay, you're fucking, all of you are fucking niggers because you got a soul. Okay, white and from the root to the fruit. Okay, okay. So anyway, they're going to collapse the Egyptian pound, right? And then have the people just depend on the military, right? Give Egyptian money, but that's going to go into the Sisi's pocket, ISIS, because the Sisi, I go into ISIS pocket, right? And so he can help support the Wahhabist dynasty in Saudi Arabia, right? Because they got their little allegiance there too, right? So so they can just build a military so that the Egyptian people will not be able to rise up in another Arab Spring, right? And another revolution, right? Okay. Okay, so collapse that economy, and then then Palestine, when Palestine, the false flag goes off in Palestine, and Palestine is attacked under the guise of they attacked us first, okay? So we got to respond in America. You got to help because all those other Arab nations and Russia's coming in too. So it's going to be a global war, right? And so the reptilians can take the Holy Land like they try to take the like they try to take the what do they call it, the Tropic of Capricorn, right? So they can rest there like they rest at the Tropic of Capricorn, right? Okay, okay. So anyway, acting as the Holy Mother, right? Okay, okay. So they want to collapse that. Then the Egyptian military can't help Palestine. We're just sorry, all tapped out, no money. The Egyptians don't have any money, and they're barely making it themselves. The economy is collapsed. So Palestine, you just asked out, can't help you with this false flag. In fact, you shouldn't even attack Israel. Shouldn't attack them, man. What can we do? What can they do, right? Okay, so that will be a false flag to just leave Palestinians all isolated. Okay, it's game. It's fucking game. Okay, spiritual game. Okay, they're gaming you. The only peace you should sign is a one-state solution, no two-state solution. The Trump is playing you. He's trying to play you, but he's playing you on behalf of Rothschild, Thor's Hell's child. They're playing you on behalf of Hellfire, right? You're playing with him. They got you played like Hellfire. Okay, so such a collapsing the economy, right, would cause so much regional war, and that it would burn itself it would burn out of control, beyond any human control, right? Such a catastrophic calamity is to profit but a single population, the reptilian British Zionist Vatican Synagogue of Satan, the British Israelite nation of converts, and its temple of bullshit Babel, all placed at the helm of Jazaza Drumpf. And they're telling me, do you really think that Jazaza Drumpf can really deal with the prophet born of a virgin? And do you actually think that the prophet born of a virgin is going to come to the White House and sit down and negotiate some type of peace agreement with Jazaza Drumpf? Do you really think that? You got to think again. Okay? Please. The cosmic event is set for the cosmic event, okay? Wait, well, I gotta find out where I am. Okay, so and we can expect a false flag. We can expect, okay, a false flag event that will be set for Dhul Qaeda 29/14/38, which will be August 21st, 2017, when the United States is when the United States is experiencing a total solar eclipse, which is a month directly before Muharram 3rd. 1439, which is September 23rd, 2017, which is also the biblical prophecy of Revelations 12:12 when it's supposed to appear in the heaven. So we can expect a false flag around that time too, to make you think, oh, to make the whole nation rebel. It will be rebellion time when the whole nation was supposed to rally around Jazaza Drumpf, right? Okay, this dumb idiot Jazaza Drumpf. He's a Drumpf, right? Okay. Anyway, so under the spiritual cloak of celestial darkness will be the Zionist attempt to use a celestial sign to somehow empower itself in a possible grandiose false flag, whereby all America would somehow grant its complete allegiance would grant its complete allegiance enough to empower Jazaza Drumpf, okay, enough to allow him to lead humanity into annihilation of Armageddon, and thus serving the purpose of his barren Antichrist Dajjal. So we can expect some type of false flag. They are already setting it. They've already been trying to set the stage with the so-called peace agreement in the Middle East. The peace agreement between the Palestinian and Zionist Netanyahu Israelites. Okay, Synagogue of Satan, Vatican Israelite Synagogue of Satan. Okay, so to which we have to be very vigilant of. Okay, because they are still working in progress to accomplish their wicked goal of trying to drag humanity into Armageddon, okay, global war, especially at the time when Uranus is getting ready to transition into Taurus, to where the Pleiades is the house of the constellation of higher consciousness. We're getting ready to ascend, right? So therefore, climbing that mountain, making Hajj, right? Celestial Hajj, the big one, right? The big Hajj, the 7-year transitional period, where the prophet born of a virgin is supposed, biblically stated, the prophet of a virgin is supposed to return. Get a war going on. Put all that hatred out there in the universe, right? And to counter the down love of consciousness that is supposed to come into the universe starting in 2018, right? So put all that warmongering out there, all that hate in there to cancel out all the love so that they could get their war going on. Don't do it. Don't fall into their bullshit trap, their toilet trap, okay? Don't do that. We got to stay focused on love, stay focused on unity, stay focused on healing the world, stay focused on helping securing the world for the next generations, all of tomorrow's generations, okay? That's what we got to do, okay? No matter what false flags they try to do. And like I said, this peace agreement is only a false flag. It's to be broken, as the Bible states, 3.5 years, okay? And we already know who the synagogue of Satan is. Muslims don't pray in a synagogue. Muslims pray in a mosque. It didn't say the mosque of Satan. It said the synagogue of Satan. Zionists play. And they said that the synagogue of Satan would be false Jews, right? The Zionists are false Jews. They're not Jews, okay? They're not. And they're not Christians. They're Gentile Christians. That means barbarian. That means fake Christians too, okay? They're Zionist Christian Jews, okay? They try to go apply both aspects of it, okay? To get Christians to align with them, right? Okay. So we can't follow that, okay? Now, using Kemet, okay? Kemet represents what? The Pleiades, right? Using the Pleiades or using Kemet as the catalyst to covertly subjugate the world and bring all of humanity to its knees, to implant the Zionist satanic order and its military tyrant dictator, despotic Egyptian president ISIS or Sisi, with the possible aid of Turkey and with the possible aid of what do we say? Okay, Egypt is to be the catalyst, right? That is to covertly subjugate the world by subjugating its own people. Then when they attack, Palestine, Egypt is out the way, right? Egypt will be out of the way, right? And Egypt is supposed to be Egypt is respected as the leader of the the Muslim world, not the Muslim world, but the Arab nations, right? So if Egypt and then were Saudi Hijaz is supposed to, not the Saudi dynasty, but the Hijaz is a nation it's the nation of what is known as Saudi Arabia. Okay, so Hijaz is supposed to be, if Egypt is the respect among the Arab world, right, other Arab nations. So Egypt is not supposed to protect Palestinians and the Holy Land, which is the Holy Land, right? If Egypt doesn't protect the Holy Land, then all the other nations who respect Egypt are supposed to stand down too, which includes Hijaz, right? So therefore, the Holy Land would only have the help of Russia and Syria and Iran and possibly Iraq, and not Iraq, but Pakistan and Korea. So that, and China, right? So that would be like half the world. So then against little bitty Israel, right? So America would have to come in and defend its only true friend in the Middle East by sending its poor little starved, overtaxed, overdebt, starving, homeless little boys and black boys and white boys and white girls and black girls over to defend Zionist Israel, the synagogue of Satan, right? Yeah, okay. So that would be the key. That would be the game they would be playing on humanity there, right? Okay, and drag America into war, just like they dragged America into war with in World War II, when that was staged by the Rothschilds, Thor's child as well. That was staged by Rothschild as well, right? Okay, so Egypt is to be the catalyst that stands down all other Muslim nations, all other Arab nations, right? And it's the okay, so, and that's okay, and okay. And Egypt is to be given money as well, right? American dollars too, while they're supposed to be fixing the tax brackets, right? Make it a way so the Americans can pay for the world nations. American can pay for oppression, right? Have this plantation consciousness, right? Whereby America is going to be passed over in 2000, August 2017, right? They have that solar eclipse, whereby that's a sign that America needs to change its ways, right? Change your ways, right? Okay, so it's good to give Egypt money to be the catalyst to covertly subjugate the Arab world and bring it to its knees, right? To do the Zionist dirty work, right? And oppressing other Muslim nations, but because like they do in the White House, right? With the what do they call them? They call them coons, right? They got the coons defending the Trump, right? Oh, when he talked about slavery and continuing Andrew Jackson's legacy, he didn't really mean it like that. He was asking, why did the Civil War happen? So it never happens again. Well, when they create separatist, when he promotes separatist ideology at his campaign rally and creating division in the nation, I would say that's part of the reason why it probably happened. When you promote racist ideology, that's probably why it happened. You know, when it can support slavery, that's probably why it happened. You know, when you promote, the stagnation of the economy, when the nation's probably industrializing, that's probably why it happened. I don't think he's that stupid where he doesn't know. No, he's a Confederate himself, so maybe that was a little hint that people better watch himself, because he would easily start a civil war. Being commander-in-chief of the military and all, he could easily call for the South to succeed, right? And he could call for succession of the southern states again, and he's the commander-in-chief. I mean, after all, he does have the Southern White House at Mar-a-Lago, right? Okay. Yeah. And he does have his separatist rebel Confederates, right? He's leading them. So he could actually do that from his perspective, right? So maybe that's a covert warning, right? Now, Okay, so Egypt is to do that. Egypt is to subjugate its own people, thereby, when Palestine is Palestine is attacked, and Egypt doesn't come in and help. It has to be left to America, right? So Egypt is to help implement the Zionist Satanic Order, will, and its military, and the military despotic dictator, Egyptian President Sisi. He's to do the will of the Zionists. And he's to be given, and he's to be made possibly aided with Turkey, right? By Turkey, right? And to initiate World War III, right? Which with the collapse of the dollar and the collapse of the pound, okay, and repression of in his nation, so that he wouldn't be able to help Palestine if the Holy Land, if the Zionists should take Jerusalem. Because what can he say? What can he do? He doesn't have any military power. He doesn't have, his economy is busted. He can't do anything. While the military's being fed, right? The military's getting getting food from America, taking food out of Americans' mouths, right? Okay, and then open the door for Americans to come in, right? For the Trump's Confederate army to come in, because, right, and drag America in, America's children in, America's starving, homeless, and debt children in, right? Poor children, because their families couldn't afford anything because they're too busy paying taxes. Unhealthy too, because they can't afford health care. Okay, so although the conspiracy is concocted by the barbarian the barbarian child of wrath, okay, the barbarian wrath child of hell, right, it is conducted on behalf of his reptilian Babylonian Khazar Vatican, Israeli synagogue of Satan, okay, and his Israeli clan of British converts. It is to be initiated by the military junta of Egyptian President Sisi. So, though the conspiracy of collapsing the Egyptian pound and just feeding the military, oppressing the people, it was concocted by the Rothschild, but this conspiracy is to be carried out by Sisi and probably Turkey too, and the dynasty of El Saud, right? Okay, so he's to aid in repressing the Arab world, the Arab nations back there, right? Okay, and possibly threaten Iran and Syria, right? So, and what's another one? Yemen, right? Little tiny Yemen. Okay. Now, so he, meaning Sisi, is the dictator that is to lead the beast in the battle of Armageddon, just as referred to in the Bible. Now, if I remember correctly, in the Bible it states that Egypt, like the Horn of Africa, is going to rise up. Okay, so they have to make everything fake. They have to, as imposters, they have to, they have to copy or mimic everything that's stated that is going to happen in prophecy, so that humanity will think, oh, it's prophecy that's going on, when it's not prophecy, in order to get humanity. Remember what I said about spiritual alchemy, okay? So they do the spiritual alchemy by, having all these false flags or these fake biblical prophecies, so that humanity will think it's really Bible prophecy, and then they will adhere to the plans and behave themselves according to what the let's say the synagogue of Satan seeks them, in the manner the synagogue of Satan seeks them to behave. For instance, by making them think again, like, oh, Israel is being attacked. These are the Jews. These are the God's chosen people. You got to support them. They're being attacked, and they're surrounded by Russia and the terrorists and Russia and China and the whole world is attacking them, so you got to come in and save them. In reality, it will be a plan to destroy America's military, America's economy, America's people, America's everything, and then in the end have it destroy itself with civil war and make you think, oh, it was just America. America was stupid. It was all that racism that did that. You know, it was all that. It was racism. We tried to. They should have been like us. You know, we have black Jews from Ethiopia. You know, we're very inviting of everybody in the world. We welcome them as long as they're Jews. You know, when reality, remember, it would have been the reptilian children of the fallen woman, right? Satan, hiding it, pretending to be Satan. Satan pretending to be the fallen woman, and Mars, right? It would be the reptilian children, the seed of Satan, right? The synagogue of Satan that everybody's going to protect, right? But at the expense of destroying itself, right? So they make you think, oh, you are the ones who have that racist problem, but it was inspired by the synagogue of Satan, right? With his two father, Mars, and the son, Satan, Christ, Satan being this father of the seed of the reptilian, scorpion race of Mars, right? And against the golden children of the sun, okay? So, and the sun representing Christ, representing Apollo, okay? Representing the lion king, right? So it would be the children of the black, life, versus the children of white would be death, right? Because they're far from home, right? Far from the root, right? So, and their generations have no longevity, right? I mean, their descendants have not a long longevity, right? Okay, so when it was they who inspired that, the Vatican who inspired that slavery and racism and all this seed of Satan and all this kind of stuff, right? So, but then they'll tell America when it has a civil war, that was you guys, that we had nothing to do with it. You should have been like Israel. You should have been like the synagogue of Satan. We had everybody. They accepted everybody from all over the world, right? So it'd just be a game, and just enough to brainwash you to think your problems are internal. They had nothing to do with it. All the while they were manipulating you from the outside, right? Okay, and just as a Trump with all his talk about get them out, get them out, get them out, right? Get the black lives don't matter, right? I'm put more policing on the street, right? They're lazy. All they do is sex, right? There should be colonizing all over again, right? That's what he said, right? Blacks only have sex and they're lazy, right? And they're uneducated, and they should be colonized again. Even everything Africa gets from all over the world, they import everything, even matchsticks, right? And if you look at Africa and you see how poor Africa really is, and Africa is the richest nation on the world, then that goes to show you how much Africa has been usurped. If Africa has shanty towns, and Africa in reality has diamond mines, gold mines, and cobalt, and all these oils, and all these natural resources, livestock and land, and the people live in shanty towns, that goes to show you how much Africa has been raped. Okay? So, but yet the drum tells you they're so poor and so lazy and so ignorant. Okay, that's because he's a race, a bona fide racist, a bona fide fascist, bona fide trying to support the Zionist agenda to exterminate and steal the legacy of the African nation of Jacob. Okay? Of a Hebrew nation of Jacob. He wishes he could be a Hebrew. It's so bad he could taste it. Okay? And Ivan Kuh, who's a convert, right? A Zionist convert. Okay, so I'm like, we're going to go to video 7. Video 7.